Larry, you're muted.
All right, I'm getting squared away here. Welcome. Good evening, everybody, to the Lppbbsg Primary Purpose Big Book Study Group. Our study follows a 96 cycle week that begins on the title page and continues through page 164. We study spiritual experience, the appendix, if three times, appendix 2 three times, when the asterisk refers us there. We also study Dr. Bob's Nightmare and the 12 Traditions. We close our study on week 96 by studying spiritual experiences as a stand-alone meeting. Our meeting began January 7th, 2020, using this format, and we are grateful that you are here to study with us tonight. My name is Larry, and I am a grateful recovered alcoholic.
And my name is Aaron, and I'm a grateful recovered alcoholic.
Before we begin, please be aware that the first 90 minutes of this meeting will be recorded in audio only for our website, podcast, and YouTube channels. If you missed the study portions, you can listen to it online. Study pages will also be listed in the chat. Be sure to check out the information posted in the chat throughout the meeting for our other meeting times. Are there any announcements for the greater good of AA or this meeting?
Hi, everybody. I'm Trish, and I'm an alcoholic, and I only have one. We were going to have a group conscience yesterday, but because of life and a whole bunch of things, that has been rescheduled till not next week, but the week after August 10th on Monday. And that's because August 3rd is our fourth step workshop. So feel free to stop by for both of them if you'd like. Anyone is welcome to our home group for our group conscience, but only home group members are eligible to vote.
Thank you. Tonight's recap will begin on page 85. It will be from on 85 to 87 and will be read by Jacqueline. And tonight's study portion will begin on page 87 to 88, and it will be read by Donald. Yeah.
Please take a moment to settle in and get comfortable. We take our Big Book study seriously, and we want everyone to feel present and connected as we begin. In a moment, we'll have a 3-minute meditation, followed by our family's fog light prayer. As we move into the study, please help us maintain a peaceful environment. Please be mindful of background noise when you are unmuted. If you wouldn't do it in a live meeting, please don't do it on Zoom. Also, please stay muted during other people's shares. We will call on the hands in the order they are raised.
From the foreword to the first edition of Alcoholics Anonymous, we of Alcoholics Anonymous are many thousands of men and women who have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body to show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered and the main purpose of this book and of this group. For the meditation, focus on your breath and posture, breathe in God and breathe out self. take this time to reconnect with God and release the day. And now our fog light prayer. Will be coming to our screen in a moment. Fog light prayer. God, let your love shine through us like a fog light, so that those that are lost, sick, and dying can find your love through us. Amen.
Amen. And now let's have our secretary's report.
You're unmuted. You're muted, Joanne. There you go.
Good evening, family. Excuse me. Good evening, family. My name is Joanne, and I am your recovery alcoholic secretary. And I have asked Stephanie to read the recovery statement to explain why many in this group identify as recovered. Stephanie gonna be on the screen.
Thank you. Stephanie, recovered alcoholic. Recovered. We are not cured of alcoholism. Recovered, but not cured? That presents a conflict to some alcoholics. If we were cured, we would be able to drink responsibly. No, we are not cured. The allergic reaction to alcohol will remain with us for a lifetime. But we have been restored to sanity. That was the problem. The main problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than in his body. Page 23. We are now sane where alcohol is concerned. Consequently, we have recovered.
Thank you, Stephanie. And we meet every Tuesday night at 5:30 p.m. Central Time for fellowship before the meeting. Our big book study began properly at 6:30 p.m. CT Central Time. During the study, chat will be disabled from the forward to the second edition page XX of alcoholic who came to AA and really tried. 50% got sober at once and remained that way. 25% sober up after some relapse, and the remaining, those who stayed on with AA, showed improvement. Could we have a show of hand on people joining us for the first time? Show of hand.
I think we've got one or two, maybe Richard. I think Levi's been here before, but welcome everybody.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. And the recovering alcoholic. These are your potential sponsors. Raise your hand and get been recovered with the E. Let me raise mine too. All right. If anyone celebrating a milestone this week,
I don't see any.
okay. If you need a big book, we can send you a large print copy. Please let one the co-host know by chat after the meeting. Okay, please price the 7th edition using the link in the chat and on the screen. All right, there it is. We encourage you to get a big book and work with an untreated alcoholic to take them through the program of recovery. Thank you. I'll see you next week.
Thanks, Joanne.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From there is a solution. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out in which we can absolutely agree, and upon which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. This is an open meeting, and everyone is welcome. You're not required to identify yourself if you do not want to. Your anonymity will always be protected. We ask that you protect ours also. Our group is for those who want to recover from alcoholism and have the desire to stop drinking for good and all. Each member of Alcoholics Anonymous is a potential sponsor of a new member and should clearly recognize the obligations and duties of such a responsibility.
All right, before we begin our study of the Big Book, last week we reviewed Tradition 3. This week, I think we will be reviewing Tradition 4. Please refer to page 562 of Alcoholics Anonymous. Come in, Lisa.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and I'm your traditionalist for tonight, and I am an alcoholic. Page 562, the short form. Tradition 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. In the long form, with respect to its own affairs, each AA group should be responsible to no other authority than its own conscience. But when its plans concern the welfare of neighboring groups also, those groups ought to be consulted. And no group, regional committee, or individual should ever take any action that might greatly affect AA as a whole without conferring with the trustees of the General Service Board. On such issues, our common welfare is paramount. So I was looking at some history. And the club era in the early 1940s, pioneer groups tried running massive central clubs that mixed recovery with housing, restaurants, and outside money schemes, which caused heavy conflicts. And learning from history, Bill W. and early members looked at past movements like the Washingtonians and the Oxford Group, seeing how outside political or religious agendas tore those groups apart, and protecting our freedom. To keep local chapters from fighting or becoming rigid corporations, the fellowship decided that individual groups needed the freedom to run their own meetings and choose their own styles. Guided by the spirit of autonomy, as Bill W. calls it, each group is free to manage its own affairs, fitting its customs to the alcoholics it serves. Like the many freedoms AA offers to individuals, autonomy allows an AA group to be whatever its members want it to be, so long as it doesn't affiliate itself with anything or anybody else, or do anything that would greatly injure other groups or AA as a whole. And my experience with the last, I think I've been to 3 or 4, maybe more, group consciousness in our group. And I really like how it's run and structured. Because I've been to a couple where it seems like there was more important people, let's say, than the whole group. Just a certain few that would be, the rule makers, let's say. But my experience in our group, I don't know if all of you remember, it wasn't too long ago, but we had some Zoom bombers. We opened up to intergroup, which was a decision we made in our group conscience. And we opened up, and sad to say that, we had some Zoom bombers, and it was very, very distracting. And, so we took it to the group conscience, and, the majority, we heard everybody had a say, which I liked, and the majority ruled to take it off. I mean, it was safety, and it was hurting the group as a whole. And reading through this and learning about this tradition, I can also practice this in my home life. We have family meetings, right? A lot of families do. Kind of the same type of idea, and I can incorporate this into my daily life. And I want to thank you for letting me be part of this and helping me learn. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Lisa.
you.
At this time, we hear a lot of things in our meetings that can't be reconciled with what the big book says. Tonight, the topic is don't drink no matter what. And Billy, what does the big book say on page 31, paragraph 4?
It says, we do not like to pronounce any individual as alcoholic, but you can quickly diagnose yourself. Step over the nearest bar room and try some controlled drinking. Step over to the nearest bar room and try some controlled drinking. Try to drink and stop abruptly. Try it more than once. It will not take long for you to decide if you are honest with yourself about it. It may be worth a bad case of the jitters if you get a full knowledge of your condition.
Thank you for your service.
Be sure to use your pens, highlighters, and rulers as we study. We use this study guide prepared by Joe and Charlie and Krusty Cliff of the Dallas Primary Purpose Group to stay focused and consistent. We read the material once, then dissect it through question and answer format. After tonight's study is read, we will ask questions from the imaginary podium. The answers will be one sentence unless otherwise specified, and multi-part questions are simply one sentence answers, split up by commas, semicolons, hyphens, and other fun bits of punctuation. This helps us understand and apply the content clearly.
After the study, we open the meeting for comments and questions based on the pages just read. Our purpose here is to stay in the book and let the message do the work. If a share drifts into something better handled with the sponsor, we'll kindly point you that way.
You can never go wrong by commenting on pages studied, which brings us to the words of one of the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous. Sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the teaching and practice of the 12 steps, is the sole purpose of any Alcoholics Anonymous group.
Before we begin the recap, I'm going to need 5 or 6 hands raised to be our readers tonight. So while that's happening, I'm going to call on Jacqueline to start reading our recap from page 85, starting with step 11 suggests, and read through page 87. We come to rely on it. Jacqueline?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacqueline M., and I am a recovered alcoholic. And step 11 suggests prayer and meditation. We shouldn't be shy on this matter of prayer. Better men than we are using it constantly. It works if we have the proper attitude and work at it. It would be easy to be vague about this matter, yet we believe we can make some definite and valuable suggestion. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. Were we resentful, selfish, dishonest, or afraid? Do we owe an apology? Have we kept something to ourselves which should be discussed with another person at once? Were we kind and loving towards all? What could we have done better? Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time? Or were we thinking of what we could do for others, of what we could pack into the stream of life? But we must be careful not to drift into weary remorse or morbid reflection, for that would diminish our usefulness to others. After making our review, we ask God forgiveness and inquire what corrective measures should be taken. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. We consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance, for after all, God gave us brains to use. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is clear of wrong motives. And thinking about our day, we may face a decision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration and intuitive thought and a decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We are often surprised how the right answer comes after we have tried this for a while. What used to be a hunch or occasional inspiration gradually become a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We may pay for this presumption in all sorts of obscured action and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Now for our study reader will be Donald, and he will begin reading page 87. We usually conclude the period and read through page 88. The next chapter is entirely devoted.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Donald, and I am a very grateful recovered but not cured alcoholic. We usually conclude the period of meditation with a prayer that we be shown all through the day what our next step is to be, that we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems. We ask especially for freedom from self-will and are careful to make no requests for ourselves only. We may ask for ourselves, however, if others will be helped. We are careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing that, and it doesn't work. You can easily see why. If circumstances warrant, we ask our wives and our friends to join us in morning meditation. If we belong to a religious denomination which requires definite morning devotion, we attend to that also. If not, members of religious bodies, we sometimes select and memorize a few set prayers which emphasize the principles we have been discussing. There are many helpful books also. Suggestions about these may be obtained from one's priest, minister, or rabbi. Be quick to see where religious people are right. Make use of what they have to offer. As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves that we are no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, "Thy will be done." We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We do not tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. It works. It really does. We alcoholics are undisciplined, so we let God discipline us in the simple way we have just outlined. But this is not all. There is action, and more action. Faith without works is dead. The next chapter is entirely devoted to step 12. Thank you for letting me be of service.
Thank you. Thank you to our recap reader and our study reader. Tonight, our readers are going to be in this order. First up will be Kenny. Second up will be Jacqueline. Then Linda, William, and Billy will be the batting order. And for our first question of the day will be a two-part question directed at Kenny. A, how do we conclude our period of meditation? And B, what do we pray for?
We usually conclude the period of meditation with a prayer that we be shown all through the day what our next step should be. That we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems.
Mm-hmm.
In our first comment of the night, is this part of what sought really means? Is this the practice of the ask?
Mm-hmm. Our next question goes to Jacqueline. A, we especially pray for what? And B, what are we careful not to pray for?
We ask especially for freedom from self-will and are careful not to make no requests for ourselves only.
And Linda, your question is, what may we continually pray for?
We may ask for ourselves. However, if others will be helped.
Is this the idea of serving others? Putting others' needs ahead of your own?
Anyway, okay. William, what are we careful not to pray for?
We're careful never to pray for our own selfish ends.
Billy, how do some of us waste our time?
Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing that, and it doesn't work.
And Kenny, why?
You can easily see why.
What was it we prayed for in the 3rd and 7th-step prayers?
Yeah. Jacqueline, your question. If we have family or friends close by, what might we do?
If circumstances warrant, we ask our wives or friends to join us in morning meditation.
And Linda, if our religion places requirements on us, what do we do?
If we belong to a religious denomination which requires a definite morning devotion, we attend to that also.
And William, if we have no religious affiliation, what do we do?
If we're not members of a religious body, we sometimes select and memorize a few set prayers which emphasize the principle we have been discussing.
And Billy, what may we refer to?
There are many helpful books also.
And Kenny, where might we find some good suggestions for other reading material?
Suggestions about these may be obtained from one's priest, minister, or rabbi.
And Jacqueline, what should we be quick to do?
Be quick to see where religious people are right.
And Linda, should we take advantage of their generosity?
Make use of what they offer.
Next is the 11th-step prayer out of our book. Often people refer to the prayer of St. Francis as the 11th-step prayer. However, this is the original prayer. We have to remember that the 12 and 12 was published 16 years after the Big Book.
Okay. And where am I?
Thank you.
Last
I
paragraph.
got you.
As when we are
I know where I'm at. I meant who am I at? Who was the
At
last?
me. You at me. I follow
Okay.
Linda.
Okay, William. Okay, Billy.
Okay.
when we are upset or confused, what do we pray?
As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action.
Just pausing is not enough. We must ask for direction as well.
Kenny, two-parter. We constantly remind ourselves we are no longer running the show. Humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, thy will.
Hey, Larry,
Yes.
you gotta ask the question.
Oh, part two. What must we remember all the time? And B, what else do we humbly pray?
As we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action.
No, that was the last one. Kenny, we're on.
We constantly remind ourselves.
We constantly remind
ourselves we are no longer running the show. Humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, thy will be done.
Learning to trust God with everything, even right now.
Jacqueline, by doing so, what are we promised?
We are then in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions.
Is this another promise for us?
And Linda, will we be able to get more done?
We become much more efficient.
And William, why will that be so?
We do not try to easily, for we are not burning up energy foolish as we did when we was trying to arrange life to suit ourselves.
And Billy, what is the next promise?
It works. It really does.
And Kenny, we alcoholics are what?
We alcoholics are undisciplined.
Jacqueline, how do we let God discipline us?
So we let God discipline us in this simple way we have just outlined.
What has been outlined is the program of recovery through the first 11 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. We need only to continue to follow outline of action to grow spiritually. To confirm that, read the last sentence on page 14. Let's go there.
Linda, what does the last sentence on page 14 say? Start at for if.
Pass.
William.
Oh, wait a minute.
14.
I'm sorry, page 14, the last paragraph?
The last sentence on page 14 say, start at for if.
Okay, for if an alcoholic failed to perfect and enlarge his spiritual life through work and self-sacrifice for others, he could not survive the certain trials and low spots ahead.
Let's return to page 88.
All right. William, is learning to take the first 11 steps the end of our actions? It's starting with the word but. But
this is not all.
Yes.
There
Billy,
action and more.
That's all. That's
okay.
All. Billy,
Gotcha.
what is there more of?
without works is
No,
dead.
no.
Oh,
There-
there is action and more action. Sorry.
Yeah. Kenny, what is dead?
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. Jacqueline, what is chapter 7 about?
The next chapter is entirely devoted to step 12.
Did I skip a page?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No, you
All right.
didn't.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all of our readers. It is, if you have experience with the pages that was read tonight, you are free to share your experience, strength, and hope. Please stay on topic and be mindful of your time. We have a 5-minute buzzer that we put so that we give everybody a chance to share. The timer will be set when we start our share. It will be at the top of the screen. A friendly reminder that the absence of profanity will offend nobody in this group. So we are now open for comments, questions, observations, and spiritual experience on the topic that was just read. The dental chair is been opened. Seashell. Lisa.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa. I'm an alcoholic. When I first came back around this last time, because I never wanted to do things the way the book stated, I always wanted to do it my way. And it never seemed to work. I always ended up picking up again. But this time around, I joined this group. This was instrumental to me. These readings, the recap, and this reading tonight. Because when I took booze out of the equation and, started to accept I was an alcoholic, I always had a problem. I had a problem with people, places, things, with life. But it wasn't, it was my reactions to it. And I didn't get that. So every time I called my sponsor, or my sponsors, it was open to page 82 to 88. And that's what I read. I had to look at Lisa. Before I made the phone call, I'm like, oh, they're gonna agree with me this time. And no, what are you doing, Lisa? It's not about them. It's not about people, places, and things. What are you doing? And this reading always got me back on track. And what was also suggested to me was to read in the first person. And I found myself reading along tonight with I. And that's helped me so much too. It's all about my stuff. And that when I first started pausing, I paused. I could pause very easily. But when I unpaused, it was all still there. I never asked for the right thought or action. And even when I started doing that, I wouldn't wait for the answer. I wouldn't wait for it. So I was always in the same spot. But after practice and doing it over and over, it really helped me a lot. And I love the promises. The great thing too is I could do this before I finished all the steps. Step 11. And when I first started, it was the St. Francis prayer that Aaron mentioned. That was one of the ones I did. And the sick man's prayer a lot. And now my morning ritual is, asking God, how can I serve him? And how can I serve his other children? I like that. I heard someone else say that, and I like that, and it seems to work for me, and show me the pathway to do that. To guide my thinking and my thoughts, because I know where my thinking gets me. Right into my will. My will, how it was explained to me, is my thinking and feelings and my thoughts. I'm stuck in my will. And this helps me get in line with God, and I'm very grateful that it was suggested to me to do this. Because I was so blocked, I didn't understand. I was nervous, and I think I was afraid because I didn't understand God and any of it. And I also heard someone say that. I still don't understand God after 30-something years. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, maybe I can do this, So, yeah, if you're struggling, give it a try. I mean, reading in the first person, it was huge for me. And I'm going to continue doing it. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Linda.
Hi, my name is Linda. I'm an alcoholic. Someone told me that to all the steps, there's 12 principles of each step. And they gave it to me. And for the first step is honesty. Second step is hope. Third step is faith and action. Fourth is courage. Fifth step is integrity. Sixth step is willingness. The seventh step is humility. Eighth step is brotherly, sisterly love. And ninth step is discipline and justice. The 10th step is perseverance. The 11th step is spiritual awareness. And then the 12th step is service. I'm so glad that these steps go in sequential order. Just exactly the way they are. They are perfect just the way they are. I have to get honest. And I better have some hope. People think hope is just hope. No, hope is a lot more. It's when you have nothing left. It gives you power. It gives you strength. It is the faith and the hope. And then we move to the third step, faith, and then action. Gotta have faith to be able to do that fearless moral inventory. You have to have the courage. You have to have that courage. And in the fifth step, then it teaches me about being honest and having integrity. Admitted to another person, admitted to myself and another person, the exact nature of my wrongs. It says your wrongs, but I remember a lady said, say it again. And I said, what? She said, say it again, repeat it again. And I said, the exact nature of your wrong. She said, that's right, you're wrong. She said, you're wrong. She said, and the fifth step is what you're doing and why you keep doing it. And I was like, wow. And then here comes the sixth step. I have to be willing. If I'm not willing to put the drink down, I'm going to keep drinking. Sixth step, if I'm not willing to let go of those character defects, I will drink. And then 7, my humility. I'm not going to ever get to the 7th step if I have not done 1 all the way through 6. Because it knocks all of that arrogance, that pride, that fear, that doubt, that confusion out of me. It is a mirror, and it makes me take a look at myself. And it's not a horrible picture of what I thought. Everybody in this room, me included, we're all children of God. Progress, not perfection. You know, and I'll have humility if I'm honest and step from 1 all the way to 6. I will have humility. I will get it. I will gain it. If I'm not honest, no. I'm not going to have any humility. I'm going to still be an arrogant you-know-what. And still blame everybody and think the world owes me something. And you know, I like the 8th step, brotherly, sisterly love. I'm sitting down and I'm writing a list of all the people that I've harmed, that I can remember that I harmed. I'm having compassion because I never know how much I really hurt someone. It's time for me to face it. Time for me to stop looking at people like objects and understanding human beings that have feelings. And then here comes the 9th step, discipline and justice. I better make those amends. I better clean up my financial wreckage of the past, my interpersonal relations with other people, and the things I've done. And for me, it was my children. You know, and then 10, perseverance. 10th step, when we were wrong, we promptly admitted it. When I'm wrong, I'm promptly admitted. Quickly, I own up to it. I don't have to make an excuse. You know, and here comes the 11th step, the spiritual awareness. I can't get to spiritual awareness if I didn't do from 1 all the way to 10. I can't. I'm not going to be able to draw closer to God if I have all those blockers, those defects. I'm not going to be able to get close to my God. I'm not going to have a good relation with God. You know, I told someone, I said, I keep thinking about a baby and I keep feeling love in my heart. I don't know why I keep dreaming about baby and I keep feeling love in my heart and I feel happy. And they told me, they said, well, you know what? My daughter's pregnant. She's going to have a baby. And it was a family member. And I said, that's what it was. And they pointed out, I said, as we get closer to God, we start feeling things. All of a sudden, why am I dreaming about a baby? Why am I dreaming about love? How? Spiritual awareness. You know, I'm drawing closer to God. And the baby was born on my birthday, too, my niece, my grandniece. And then here goes service. I love service. I love it. If you read Dr. Bob's Nightmare, I'm going to say this and shut up. It says it's his duty. He said it's his pleasure, and it's an insurance policy to take out to keep himself from drinking. It is my solemn duty, the responsibility statement. Anyone that needs help, I'm responsible. I want the hand of AA to be there, and for that I am responsible. And service, believe me, you will get so much love, and you will help so much people. And remember, don't look for anything in return, because you're doing God's work. Thank you for letting me share.
Tanya. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that, Chair. Tanya.
Good evening, Tanya Alcoholic. Grateful to be here, sober and alive today. Thank you, Larry, so much for this wonderful meeting. The last paragraph on page 87, I'm going to reread it if that's okay with you guys, because I needed to hear again. And it says, and this is something that helps me on a daily basis. This is something I reread because it needs to stay in here. So every time when something like this happens, I need to practice pause and silence. And it says, as we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. We constantly remind ourselves we are no longer running the show, humbly saying to ourselves many times each day, thy will be done. We're then in much less danger or excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, or foolish decisions. We become much more efficient. We do not tire so easily, for we are not burning up energy foolishly as we did when we were trying to arrange life to suit ourselves. I think that's absolutely beautiful. it's something that I need to practice is this beautiful pause and also silence, that still point, that stillness in me. I recently, 2 weeks ago, I felt fear. I felt fear for 2 days. One of my very close friends, doctor said there was something on her face, and she thought it was cancer, so they did a biopsy. And then what that did to me, it triggered myself, because I went through liver transplant, and these skin cancers are very, very common in liver transplant patients. So immediately I started thinking about myself, and I immediately prayed. I prayed, and I didn't call my sponsor. I didn't call anyone in my network. I thought that I am going to it's going to pass and I'll be fine. So finally, I had a one-on-one with my sponsor, and I told her about this, and she said, "You had an emotional relapse. You should have called. You should have called somebody." And so she asked me to do inventory on that specific situation. So I did, and I looked at what happened, what was my part in it, how did that affect me, and most of it, again, it's control. It's control, where I'm trying to control everything around me. I'm trying to control my own fear. And I tried to kind of give myself some points, but I said I prayed. But then I questioned myself, did I really pray? Was that 0.001% of my faith? Was I in it 100%? And I wasn't. And the sentence that says, faith without works is dead. And, I always had faith. I always had faith. I always had my higher power. But I didn't have that conscious contact. I didn't have that development. And that faith was not 100%. And, at the end, the conclusion was that I need to practice more humility, willingness to call others, being able to ask for help and not to control my life. And it's so funny how easily, I went through the steps, and I know what step 10 says, and those are, as we call them, I call them maintenance steps, and we do them on a daily basis, and I do them. But how quickly these defects, these character defects can pop up. But, tools are there. I have tools. I have this toolbox, and I just need to, it's not about perfection. It's about progress, practicing, and continue to practice. And prayer, as my sponsor said, prayer and meditation are the same thing, except meditation is a silent prayer. So I need to practice. I need to continue to practice. And I know I can get there. I know, I believe in myself today. I trust my higher power, and I'm capable. I am capable to do it, so I will. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you all. You guys are so adorable, especially Trish. And everybody have a good night.
Thank you, Tanya. Jacqueline, I missed you, William. I'll get you next time. You've got your hand is a different color, and sometimes we miss you. So I'll get you though.
No problem. No problem. No problem. Now, it's the first time that happened to me, so I'm okay.
Hello, group. My name is Jacqueline. I'm a recovered alcoholic, and thank you, everybody, for your share. Thank you for the reading. Thank you for everything. This is a powerful step. This step gives me balance. When I lose sight of the sunlight of the spirit in my life, it gives me balance. It helps me to bring back the sunlight of the spirit in my life. Especially when I'm throwing off balance. Because sometimes when I'm throwing off balance, I can get into self-will. And when I get into self-will, I'm blocking the spirit of God out of my life. And when I realized that, it has become a practice. It didn't come overnight. It has come over time. When I realized that, you know, not just this step, all the steps have given me clear cut direction. You know, I'm willing to take the direction. You know, it tells me as I go through the day, you know, I am going to become agitated. You know, I'm gonna become or doubtful. You know, and that's why I just not need to sit and pray and meditate in the morning. I need God all through the day. You know, when these things crop up. You know, and to learn how to pause. You know, and that took me a long time to learn how to pause. And then when I did learn how to pause, I still, you know, went on self-will. It took a while, you know, because I was always in excitement, always in fear and anger and worry and self-pity. And I would make foolish decisions, you know. And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good, you know. And, you know, this step is just telling me, you know, when I pause, just sit still and see if I can quiet myself. And hopefully God will give me the knowledge to carry out his will. You know. And sometimes I can do that. You know. And when I find myself doing that, like it says on this page here, you know, it's a promise. You know, when I can say, you know, and stop, you know, wanting things to go my way and trying to run this show and trying to make people do as I want them to do, you know, or, you know, and say, thy will be done. Thy will be done. It says, then I'm in much less danger of excitement, fear, anger, self-pity, and foolish decision. I become much more efficient. When I have all of these bedevilments coming at me, I can't be efficient. Yeah, I can't. You know, because I'm running on self-will. You know, I'm blocking God from out of my life. You know, I'm running on energy where I could use that energy on something positive. You know, and it took time for me to understand that sentence right there. I'm like, wow. You know, so today, you know, as I continue to improve, this stuff talks about improving, you know, our conscious contact with the God of our understanding, and He given us power. He's given us power to carry out His will. You know, because by the time I get to the 11th step, you know, in the 3rd step, I turn my will and life over to the care of God. And as I work these steps, you know, and by the time I get to step 11, you know, and if I follow these directions, He has given me some power to carry out His will, not mine, you know. So today, what I try to do, you know, because like I said, we are undisciplined, you know. I'm not disciplined all the time. But what I try to do each and every day, I try to put my mind in gear. And hear me out. I try to put my mind in gear before I put my mouth in action. You know, that's just like getting in my car. I got this, you know, am I gonna put it in drive or am I gonna put it in reverse? So I have to put my mind in gear. Jackie, put your mind in gear before you put your mouth in action, and it will keep you out of all of those dangerous situations, you know. And I'm going to leave you with this. And I thought my sponsor was crazy when she said this. She said, every time you touch a doorknob, when you go in and out of a room or enter a room, say, thy will be done. Take God in there first with you. You know, don't go in there first, you know, and then call on God. Try to take God in there first. And when I can remember, I do that. And most of the time, you know, I have a pretty good day. But like they say, it's still some more work to do. You know, still some more work to do. There's action and more action, more action. Faith without work is dead. You know, I'm trying to become as disciplined as I can, but sometimes I'm undisciplined. But I keep trying. I keep practicing. I keep trying. I keep practicing. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Jacqueline. William.
Thank you. My name is William Alcoholic. Thank everybody for your service tonight, and it feels good to be back home. I had some little changes in my life, medical issue, myself and my family. So I got off track there for a minute, and I'm back today. Today, hope I can be back on a regular basis. So, great read. And when you read stuff like that, it's like a gadget. You know, it's like a measuring stick. It let me know where I was when I got here and where I'm at today. You know, and definitely this. I thank God for this program of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, because I didn't know how to pray. I ain't gonna tell you I knew how to pray before I came to Alcoholics Anonymous. I was like that kid for Christmas, telling God what I want God to do for me. You know, God, give me $50,000, let me get out of debt, and I'll be okay. But God sent some people alone. I call them human angels that directly got me to Alcoholics Anonymous. When the old timers in AA, they were saying stuff like this, man, you know, because I'm a practical person, right? You can't tell me nothing. You tell me something, I'm gonna try it, and then I'm gonna say, oh, that's what they're talking about. That's where I was before, but now I could do a little bit of what you tell me because I know y'all want to help me and love me now, you know, so I can listen to what you have to say, you know. But anyhow, they used to say only 10% was the drinking, the other 90% was your thinking, you know. And from that first half of that first step, all the way to the 12th step, that will help you to change your attitude, you know. And that's what it did for me, you know. And they told me, they say some little simple stuff like this, you know. How do you get to Carnegie Practice, practice, practice. And that's what I did. I started going and reading a bit or two, sponsor, and listen to y'all share, you know, and I began to get to do this, you know. Now, it talk about prayer in the morning time when I wake up, because as I did the steps and look over my life, for me here today, you know, for me getting to Alcoholics Anonymous to a place to teach me how to live a life, a quality life, a life worth living. Because I was suicidal, man. When I got back home to Anonymous, I wanted to take my whole life, you know. And it wasn't because I didn't have things, you know. And the thing happened, I put those things in front of spirituality. So y'all flipped it over for me to tell me you can have those things, but you don't put them in front of your spiritual program and stuff. So how do I do this, you know, after that, you know. And I like the part where they say, now, in the church and stuff. I've been going to church ever since I was a little kid. They took us right to church and grew up, but I had a whole lot of fear when I was in that church because I heard what I heard, you know, that I was going to hell. The devil had a pickfork, and he was going to stick me and throw me in the burning fire of punishment. So I just knew that, you know, when I couldn't practice what they had told me perfectly. Yeah, I couldn't do that perfectly. So I automatic when I used to drink and stuff, and I'd be thinking about that. And as I'm going to hell anyway, I might as well go out with a blaze of fire on my butt. And that's what I did. And I fell into oblivion on the other side of the fence. And all that thinking about the devil and all that other stuff was it was I had a problem. Well, I'm gonna get the next drink from and stuff like that, you know. So I came through here, and then I began to get the step and practicing this. Then not drinking, showing up, letting y'all help me. Began to read the literature, began to do the steps up to this point, you know. And they say what I was talking about. Now in the morning time, I get a whole lot of inspirational stuff. My devotion that grew from a 20-minute devotion to hour and a half devotion. I get inspiration stuff from people in the church. One of my classmates, she's still in the church. She never left, so she sent me stuff. And the deacon from the church, he sent me stuff. And people from AA send me inspiration stuff. And one thing I do with all that stuff that I get, my conscience will not let me not read that and analyze it. I have to read it and analyze, and I have to show you that I read it and analyze, because I will do a and send it back to you. So they told me when I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, say your disease wake up before you do. And that is so true. You know, those thoughts in my head and all that stuff, judge and all that stuff works up in my head. So I don't ask God for nothing. I just wake up in the morning and say, thank you, God. Because I look where I came from and what I came through, and I'm here today. I got a good life. I got a great life beyond my wildest dreams in all areas of my life. You know, at this age, at this stage, my physical ability, oh shit, oh my. I'm gonna say this in closing though, but I do thank you, God. I do meditate. I read all those tapes and I send them back out. And I just want to read this last part where it was talking about, but I'll let that go for the next time. But definitely, I'm so grateful to be in Alcoholics Anonymous and learn how to be a God purpose, you know. And I don't do it perfect, but I haven't drank in U24.
Thank you, William. Thank you. Trish.
Hi, everybody. I'm Trish, and I'm an alcoholic. And, you know, the practice of the ask. This whole reading is about asking for that direction. And it starts out, I pray, is in prayer and ask, all through the day that I be shown what my next step is. I ask for freedom from self-will. I ask for myself only if others will be helped. And I never pray or ask for my own selfish ends. And if circumstances weren't, I ask my husband, my wife, my friends, my whoever to join. I've never had that. I would love that one day, but I don't have that yet. And like William was talking about, if I have a definite morning devotion from my religious denomination, I use it. I don't. But there's so many that people send to me that I send out to other people. And then as I go through the day, I ask for the right thought or action, especially when agitated or doubtful. And then I'm asking many times, thy will be done. So I'm doing a lot of asking, but you know, at this point, I find my God in step 2 and in step 3. And then I build that relationship in steps 4 through 10. And now I'm continuing to grow in that relationship as I'm asking and as I'm finding that reliance on God. You know, I don't always know what my step is going to be. I wake up in the morning and I'm often in a great mood, but sometimes as soon as my feet hit the floor, something from yesterday pops back into my head, and so much for that great mood. But even though I probably have already asked for the direction that day, I ask again, what do I do with this specific thing? Give me the direction that I can take care of whatever this is. And I love where it talks about, as we go through the day, we pause when agitated or doubtful and ask for the right thought or action. I would always pause. I would repeat in my head, and then when I unpaused, I was right back where I was until somebody said, think of it like the CD player. when I'm pausing, as I'm asking for that right thought or action, when I hit play again, if there's a different song on or different thought, I have gotten that thought or action. But if I'm still on that same tune, I haven't listened for what that answer is. So when I'm hitting that pause button because I'm agitated or doubtful, that doesn't just mean rinse, recycle, and repeat that thought so I can say it clearer and louder to you. I have to take the time to ask God, what should I be doing? Because yelling isn't helping. And I've got to get rid of that emotion if I'm going to have a reasonable conversation. And then continuing throughout the day that I am not running the show. If I'm running the show, I'm back on pages 60, 61, 62, the actor, the director, and I'm miserable when I'm doing that. And then that makes you miserable too, because you've got to deal with me being miserable. But if I can change that running the show to asking, thy will be done, what should I be doing here? I'm no longer in charge. I'm giving that power back to God where it belongs. So I let God discipline me. And it's not the discipline of a child who is bad who's getting a spanking from mom and dad. It's more the discipline of, I've got a half a marathon. I don't, but if I had a half a marathon to do in a couple of weeks, I would have to have the discipline to go out and practice. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm practicing this discipline. I'm practicing the asking. I'm practicing the praying until it becomes such a part of me internally that it comes as natural as breathing. And some days it does. Some days that prayer is an effort. It's like, okay, God, I haven't prayed yet. Guess I'm going to do it now. But even if it's taking effort, I'm still doing it. And then what comes next? Action, action, and more action. Because if I'm sitting on my laurels and I am not taking any action, I am backsliding. And I don't want to stay where I am, and I don't want to backslide into who I was. And the only way I can continue growing is to continue living with God, one day at a time, one moment at a time, asking that direction of what do I do? And this week there's been a lot of what am I supposed to do now? I was in a conversation with my parents the other day. Somebody walked in and said, "You're yelling," and I glared at him and he turned on his heel and walked back out. I don't need to be yelling at them. I need to be giving them the same care and compassion that I expect from them. But I needed that reminder. I needed to take that pause so that I could step back, get out of the emotion, and get back to what the fact is. Not living on feelings, living in facts. And remembering to ask so I can stay close to God and hear what those directions are. Your turn, Larry.
Yeah, I'm Larry. I'm an alcoholic. This week has been an interesting week for me. One that kind of caught me off guard. Actually, I've been sober for a number of years, over 15, and I have a ritual of that I do for. And I have been doing for a number of years, where I do a number of reading AA stuff every morning and every evening, and also reading scriptures. And I study theologically a lot too. I do a little bit of ministry in the church that I belong to now. They made the mistake of voting me in as an elder of the church. And so I am holding down the pulpit every third week until we get a pastor full time. And so it's been a a really good experience for me. I have never experienced anything as challenging but fruitful for my life. The fact is that in the last couple of weeks, though, I've let down on some of that. I just kind of slowed down, and I got into nobody laugh, please nobody laugh, but I got into watching these Christmas Hallmark movies in July. Oh, now, now, I saw, now, and so I let up on my scripture and readings and stuff. I've been binging some even. So I ran out of tobacco the other night. I went to the tobacco store. And just a normal thing, right? A wonderful normal thing to do. I'm going to go in. I park my car. Here's this sign right on the window. Cantaloupe, sparkling cantaloupe. I said, boy, that sounds good. Sparkling cantaloupe. I don't see where it says alcohol anywhere. That may be a juice, I'm going to check this out. I looked a little bit further. It says weed infused. Now, you all don't know my story completely, but I was dual addicted badly when I got in. That tempted me. That totally, I'm telling you, for just for a couple minutes, I sat there paralyzed, saying, that's not alcohol. And I've been hurting pretty bad after that fall that I did, at my house. And, that might take care of that pain. I'm looking at this, and all of a sudden, I said, God, grant me the serenity to do the thing. I said that serenity prayer in the middle of it, and I asked God's help in the middle of it. I said, I need power, because right now I don't have the power to fight this. And in about 2 minutes, I felt serenity. And the thing I'm saying is this. This step 11 says that we alcohols are undisciplined, so sometimes God has to discipline us. And that temptation was my discipline to tell me that I was letting down on things that I needed to do. And if I didn't get back to what I should be doing, it might not be a weed-induced thing. It might be alcohol next. 15 years doesn't mean anything if you don't do the things that you're supposed to do on a daily basis, and you don't let down on what you're supposed to do. You see, these steps has to work every day, not just once and done. It has to be done on a daily basis. That's why steps 10, 11, and 12 is there, is so we can examine ourselves and we can discipline ourselves with God's help. And we can do. And what I did, I said, God help me. And did you know, before I got home, I had a phone call with somebody that needed my help. And I talked with him about an hour and a half about his problem. And everything went back. And all my thoughts about anything, about that drink or anything else went away. And I was back doing exactly what I needed to be doing. God knows. God understands. And He knows how to help us if we pray and if we ask. That's all I got. We got maybe time for one more. I don't know, Aaron, do you want to share something before you take us out?
Sure, thank you. Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm a very grateful recovered alcoholic. And, you know, sorry, you caught me off guard and I'm exhausted. But, you know, I wake up the same a-hole every day, right? But I work overnights now, so you know, I come home the same a-hole every day. I've been working all night. I've been you know, doing my own thing. I have to come home, you know, help my wife with the kids, get them ready, you know, take the dogs out, make breakfast, do all that stuff, and I just want to go to bed. You know, when I get home, I don't want to help. I don't, not that I don't want to help, but you know, if I had my own will, I would throw myself a pity party, and you know, I tell myself that I deserve this because I worked on it. And you know, so before I come in, you know, I pray when I wake up in the middle of the day, but I have to pray before I come home, and sometimes it doesn't always work. I am human. But you know, with the tools I have, you know, I can ask God where I can be helpful, and you know, take away that anxiety, the fear, the anger, and that self-pity. And you know, sometimes it works. Sometimes I get very overwhelmed. You know, but I can, you know, I ask for forgiveness when it's needed. But you know, thank God for Alcoholics Anonymous and the tools that are so freely given to me. You know, if I find myself to where I can't do it, sometimes I do ask my wife. I say, "Can you pray with me?" and say a prayer for me. And you know, that takes it away because you know, I'm not alone. Or I call my sponsor. You know, if it's not working, or I reach out to somebody. There was a time where I wasn't doing that for a while, and I'd come home, I'd get angry, or I'd get really anxious to where I would just, you know, shut down, and that's a really lonely place to be. And you know, I'm very grateful I don't have to do that. Sorry if I ramble a bit, but I am very grateful for this program and these steps, and you guys. Thank you.
Still got a minute 40.
Oh,
Go ahead.
that's all I got.
All right. Well, then, do you want to take us out?
I do. From page 164, our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact of this. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you. Until then. Here at Primary Purpose, we have a very special way of closing out. Since we cannot hold our hands with each other, we hold our hands up and we close with the Lord's Prayer. And we will take a moment. You can unmute and join us, or listen to us. Here's your moment. Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in the heavens.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Our daily bread,
Forgive us our trespasses,
and forgive us our trespasses,
as
we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Back, it works if you let it.
Thank you, everybody.
everybody.
Great
Thank you for
meeting.
staying with us.
Great
Great
meeting.
meeting.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.